Hey, I'm Shane from Shane's Law. I'm here today with Thomas, one of our attorneys. We're talking about one of his recent client victories. This is a wild ride. Stay tuned for basically just a story right out of the movies, I guess. But tell us about SS's case, Thomas. What happened?
Yeah, so like a story out of a horror movie. SS was driving with her kids, 15-year-old son, 13-year-old son, and 5-year-old daughter who was in a car seat, like they should be, and driving straight, 2-lane road. Another car just came head on into her, clipped the front left of her car, sent her into a tailspin, spinning 3 or 4 times around.
Wow.
Yeah.
I can only imagine how scary that was for her. Also, she's trying to control the car and knowing her kids are all in the car, right?
Yeah, knowing your kids are in the car, she woke up, she came to, and she had been knocked unconscious. Her car was smoking and on fire. She could barely move because she had broken a bone in her cervical vertebrae and broken her lower back as well. She was able to undo her seatbelt and fall out of the car onto the pavement. Couldn't get up. Car was smoking, on fire.
Wow.
But her 15-year-old son is a hero here. Those two got out of the car. He smashed out the window, drug the 5-year-old daughter out of the window, and got her to safety. So
wow.
Yeah, the EMS showed up next, and
a little late.
yeah. They showed up, a little bit late, and put her on a longboard. I had to take her out of there. She's not sure where her kids are, what's going on with anything at this point. Because
how were the kids? Were they okay?
Yeah, they ended up, all things considered.
So she took all the hit.
Yeah, she had both her sons were junior football league players, so they're pretty used to taking some big hits. I mean, I don't know if you can ever be ready for a hit like this, but they just snapped into action and saved that little girl and got her out of there. Got them all to the hospital eventually.
Yeah. What were her injuries? You said she broke her neck and her back?
Yeah, she broke a C6 vertebrae in her cervical spine, and also had a fracture, a compression fracture, burst fracture of her lumbar vertebrae.
So what's a compression fracture? What is that?
Yeah, that's when things just kind of get smashed down, or you have like the pressure so big that it kind of shatters into a couple pieces there. From my understanding, like a burst fracture.
And how do they fix that? There's
a couple different ways. Here, it's a surprising way that they kind of chose to fix it, which was basically absolutely nothing.
Okay, just time.
Yeah, she was a Medicaid recipient. I don't know if that changed the way that she was treated here by the people involved, but she basically was given some x-rays, given some crutches, and told to just wait it out and things would heal.
Wow. So I've had broken ribs before, and I know that's eminently painful, but I can only imagine a break at the top and at the bottom. I mean, it seems like every time she moves, it would hurt.
Yeah, and imagine that for a mom of 3, who's trying to take care of her kids and go about her day and do all the things that she's trying to do, working and taking care of her kids.
Oh, and she's got a 5-year-old. I'm gonna assume the older kids can mostly take care of themselves. 15 and 13-year-olds, they can feed themselves at least, but a 5-year-old still needs a lot of love from mom.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of tender love and care, and she wasn't able to do that for a while. She did get some physical therapy. It came to a point where we said, well, all right, let's try to get this case settled. So we took it to the insurance company, and they offered $20,000.
Wow. Yeah. What's that about? Did they just look at the medical bills and say there wasn't a lot of treatment? She just had to be in pain, so we don't want to pay? Yeah, they used one of North Carolina's unique little laws, and said, well, Medicaid only paid about $14,000 on your case, even though you were billed $90,000, even though you're billed this amount. Medicaid's only looked at this amount, and this is what they paid, so your case is only worth this amount. Kind of one of those perverse things that gets built into a statute. When they're just looking just at the medical bills alone and say, well, it doesn't look like it's that much, thinking that the case is not worth anything.
Yeah, and only being required to consider that, not what actually happened to the person, just a dollar value.
Well, I mean, anytime you have a broken bone, though, if there's no surgery, all they really do is cast it or say time's going to heal it. So there's not a lot of treatment for a broken bone, right?
Right. Yeah. A lot of times you can just wait it out. Sometimes they'll have those procedures like a kyphoplasty where they're pouring in a kind of cement around it to stabilize it. But I think here it was trying to be as minimally invasive as possible with her.
So did you take the $20,000?
No, we said that's just not going to work here, and we talked with her, and she was eventually honest with us about how she was feeling. It had been some time since she had been in the doctor getting some physical therapy, and she said, I've been hurting this entire time. So we got her a second opinion with an orthopedic surgeon, and he was able to do essentially a rhizotomy, basically a nerve surgery, because the nerves have been aggravated by the break.
By all the trauma.
Yeah.
Okay. So he did the rhizotomy, then what happened?
Did the rhizotomy. She got into some more physical therapy. She's feeling good, on her feet again. And then we went back to the insurance company and said, hey, it's $100,000. You're going to pay everything that's there, or we're going to take you to trial and we're going to ask for $1 million. And at that point, they said, all right, here's the money. They handed over.
Yeah, so they basically the $100,000, that was all the money there was under that insurance policy?
Right, that was all that there was. There was all that there was available to collect here. And we had to basically make a threat that said, if you're not going to do the right thing, we're going to have to sue your insured and get a judgment that goes over what the policy limits are. Okay. And then, you're going to be on the hook for acting in bad faith.
Then you and your insured are going to be arguing and blaming each other, basically.
Yeah.
All right, well, how did she feel about the whole thing?
Yeah, she was, again, just very excited. We had the conversation at $20,000. I said, just be patient, hang with me here, and I think I'm going to be able to get a good result. So we went from having one conversation at 20 and said, hey, guess what, SS?
Yeah.
Got $100,000 for you.
So then my guess is she was ecstatic.
Yeah. She
not only is she better, but now she has more money too.
Definitely.
Well, great, Thomas. It sounds like a great result for a horrible situation. How was the little girl? Was she okay?
She was okay. Yeah, just kind of traumatized from seeing everything, seeing her mom laid out on the ground.
Well, I can imagine. That, yeah, great victory here. That's one of the things we like to hear, especially turning a $20,000 thing into $100,000 to get all the money. That's great. I hate you had to threaten the insurance company though. And for all our listeners, hit like and subscribe to see more client victories from Shane Smith-Law. And remember, if you're in pain, call Shane 980-999-9999.
In pain, so I call Shane 980-999-9999. In pain, call Shane.